welcome to today's video lecture. In today's video lecture, I'll be solving previous year's NEET questions and discussing the answers. And for the chapter Structural Organization in Animals, and we are in part 5 of the series. So if you haven't checked out part 1 to 4, please do so. The links will be there in the description box below. Alright, so let's begin. Question number 1. Frogs differ from humans in possessing, and this appeared in mains 2011. A. Paired cerebral hemispheres. B. Hepatic portal system. C. Nucleated red blood cells. D. Thyroid as well as parathyroid. So frogs differ from humans, and I think we discussed this in part 4 also. They differ from humans in possessing nucleated RBCs. Okay, so A, B and D are there both in frogs and humans, but frogs have nucleated red blood cells. All right, so the answer is C. Let's go to the discussion. Yeah, so red blood cells in frogs are nucleated and non-nucleated in humans. Okay, so this is a diagram of a nucleated RBC of a frog. All right, simple, direct, right? Let's move on then. Question number 2. Ureters act as urinogenital ducts in, this appear again in mains 2011. A. Human males. B. Human females. C. Both male and female frogs. D. Male frogs. So ureter acts as urinogenital ducts in D. Male frogs. Alright, so the answer is D. Alright, so here you see a diagram of the kidney, the excretory system, as well as the reproductive system of a frog. And so urinogenital is the common structure that is there in male frogs, where they behave as well, excretory system as well as the reproductive system. So ureters in female frogs only carry urine. Okay, just remember that. So if they say ureter in frogs, in females they only carry urine, whereas in male frogs it is known as urinogenital duct. Okay, so it does both functions. It carries the urine as well as the sperms. So it carries both sperms as well as urine. So urinogenital duct is a fine transparent duct that runs backwards from the kidneys and opens into the cloacal chamber, okay, from where it comes out. So cloacal chamber is a common area where it receives the urine as well as the sperms. Okay, so here you see the urinogenital duct coming out, and here are the seminiferous tubules where the semen is, the sperms are produced. Okay, eventually it moves down the Bidder's canal, then to the transverse collecting tubule, to the longitudinal collecting tubule, and then into the urinogenital duct. Okay, so remember ureter in female frogs, and then it is a urinogenital duct in male. Okay, clear? This is also, I think, I've discussed previously. We'll move on then. Alright, so question number 3. Which one of the following is a true description about an animal concerned? This appeared in 2008. A. Rat, left kidney is slightly higher in position than the right one. B. Cockroach, 10 pairs of spiracles, 2 pairs on thorax and 8 pairs on abdomen. C. Earthworm, the alimentary canal consists of a sequence of pharynx, esophagus, stomach, gizzard and intestine. And D. Frog, body divisible into 3 regions: head, neck and trunk. Alright, so we have to find the true description. Now in the first option, rat, left kidney slightly higher in position than the right one, that's not really true. So if you have the left kidney and the right kidney, usually on the right hand side, this is actually the rat's left, so if I have to say right kidney, and over here should be left kidney, the liver is present on the right hand side. So in position, right kidney is lower than the left kidney in position. Left kidney is not slightly higher in position than the right one. So A is incorrect. Cockroach, 10 pairs of spiracles, 2 pairs on thorax and 8 pairs on abdomen. Yes, that's true. So B is correct. Earthworm, alimentary canal consists of a sequence of pharynx, esophagus. Gizzard comes before the stomach. So C is incorrect. B, body divisible into divisible, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying divisible. Divisible into 3 regions: head, Neck and trunk. So there's no neck, there's head and trunk in frogs. So D is incorrect. So the correct answer is B. Let's go to the discussion. Okay, so here you have the tracheal system of cockroach. So you can clearly see the first thoracic spiracle, second thoracic spiracle over here. So first thoracic spiracle, they occur in pairs. Okay, so there's one here and there's one here. All right, and it's between pro and the mesothorax. All right, so you have one here, then you have the second thoracic spiracle, which is between mesothorax and metathorax. All right, over here and over here. Then you have the first abdominal spiracle, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then finally the eighth abdominal spiracle. So there are 10 pairs of spiracles, also known as stigmata. So if they use the word stigmata in place of spiracles, then you know they're talking about spiracles on either side of the body. So they always occur in pairs. The first pair of thoracic spiracle is present between prothorax and mesothorax, as I already explained. Second pair is present between mesothorax and metathorax. And there are 8 pairs of abdominal spiracle that are present in the first 8 segments. Alright, so this is how the spiracles are positioned. Clear? Let's move on then. Alright, so question number 4. What happens if bone of frog is kept in dilute HCl? This appeared in 2000. A will become flexible, D will turn black, C will break into pieces, D will shrink. So if it's kept in dilute HCl, hydrochloric acid, it will become flexible. Alright, the answer is A. So bones are made of organic matter, which makes the bone flexible, and inorganic calcium, which makes the bone hard and strong. Okay, so there's an organic part and the inorganic part to bones. Okay, so now imagine if the bone is kept in dilute HCl. That's not concentrated HCl, it's dilute HCl. So this HCl then reacts with calcium, the inorganic part. Okay, so when it's dissolved in dilute HCl, it reacts with calcium, leaving behind the organic matter, which is the collagen part, and it leaves the bone flexible. All right. The inorganic part is already reacted with HCl, so that part is gone out, and what we are left with is the organic part, organic matter, which is collagen, which makes the bone flexible. All right, so this was a good question. It's not a direct question where you just need to know facts, you need to apply your knowledge here. All right, so let's move on. Alright, so question number 5. The roof of the cranium of frog is formed by, this appeared in 1997, A. Frontoparietal, B. Orbitosphenoid, C. Parasphenoid, and D. Alisphenoid. So the roof of the cranium of frog is formed by frontoparietal bone. Okay, so these are names, the A, B, C, D option that you see are names of bones in the cranium of the frog. I would suggest you just study them as it is, if they ever ask you, because this information is not present in NCRT. So I would suggest that you just study it as it is, and if they ever ask you. So the answer over here is A. Let's go to the discussion. So the roof of the cranium is frontoparietal bone in frog. If you like, you can note these position, the names of the bones and the position down in notebooks, so that you can study it later. Orbitosphenoid is the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. Parasphenoid bone is situated behind the sphenoid bone at the base of the skull. Okay, so parasphenoid bone forms the base of the skull, and alisphenoid and orbitosphenoid form a part of the sphenoid bone. Alisphenoid is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. Like I said, note it down in your notebook, study it as it is, as the definitions are, and if they ever ask you, you know what they're talking about. Right, clear? Let's move on. Alright, question number 6. In frog, the surface of attachment of tongue is, and this appeared in 1997, A. Pterygoid, B. Hyoid apparatus, C. Parasphenoid, and D. Palatine. So surface of attachment of tongue is, in frogs, is hyoid apparatus. Alright, that's where the tongue is attached. So the answer over here is B. So higher apparatus lies on the floor of the buccal cavity and provides attachment and support to the tongue. All right. Yeah, just remember this again as a fact, and if they ever ask you, you know the answer. Okay, let's move on. Question number 7. In frog, Fenestra ovalis is, and this appeared in 1997. A. The communication between the pharynx and the tympanic cavity. B. External opening of the tympanic cavity which is covered by the tympanic membrane. C. Air-filled cavity of the middle ear. D. Opening in the auditory capsule which separates the middle ear from the internal ear. So in frogs, there is no external ear like we have in humans. There's a middle ear and then there's an internal ear. Alright, so fenestra ovalis is the opening in the auditory capsule which separates the middle ear from the internal ear. So if you look at the anatomy of the ears, the frog's ear, you will see that it separates the auditory capsule which forms the inner ear from the middle ear, the tympanic cavity. So the correct answer over here is D. Yeah. So here you see this is the middle ear, the opening of the middle ear. You have a tympanic membrane. You have another structure called columna oris, okay, which directly attaches the tympanic membrane to the stapes. Okay, stapes is one of the ear ossicles. Right, and then you have the small tunnel over here called fenestra ovalis. Okay, the small tunnel. Just get rid of this circle here. Yeah. So you have a small tunnel over here called fenestra ovalis, which then enters into the auditory capsule, where you have the semicircular canals. All right. Yeah, so here this structure is the tympanic cavity, this middle ear, right? And this is the auditory capsule. So fenestra ovalis forms a barrier between the two. Okay, it leads into the auditory capsule. It's an oval aperture over which the stapes lies, and this leads into the auditory capsule. Okay, try to remember this anatomy if they ever ask you, yeah, in the exam. All right, let's move on then. Question number 8. The kidney of an adult frog is, and this appeared in 1997, A. Metanephros, B. Opistonephros, C. Pronephros, and D. Mesonephros. This is a little difficult, right, to answer. So the kidney of an adult frog is B. Opistonephros. Okay, so the answer is B. So to understand this question, we need to know how the kidney is evolved in structure. Okay, so we'll come to that now. So the kidney of an adult frog is opistonephros. And how is this evolved? Where is it evolved from? It is derived from pronephros. So pronephros is the primitive type of kidney, right? So even in humans also, when the fetus is developing, it initially forms pronephros, okay, which then moves into mesonephros, and then finally the adult, the kidney that the fetus has, the baby has, is called metanephros, okay, in humans. So initially it is pronephros, which is the beginning stage of development of kidneys. All right. The larval stages of fishes and amphibians have pronephros type of kidney. So this is a good MCQ question. If they ever ask you what kind of kidney is present in the larval stage of fishes and amphibians, you know it is pronephros type of kidney. Okay, so this is a good MCQ question. Now once this pronephros is formed, it develops into mesonephros. Okay, develops into mesonephros. But in frogs, when it becomes an adult, it is not known as mesonephros, it is known as opistonephros. Okay, in adult frogs, there are most fishes and most amphibians, it is known as opistonephros and not mesonephros. But mesonephros is a term that is reserved for development from pronephros to mesonephros, and then it goes into metanephros. But there is a structural difference in opistonephros, which is which is a type of mesonephros, but it is present in adult amphibians. Okay, so it is a type of mesonephric kidney when it functions as an adult kidney. Okay, there are some structural differences in opisthenephros and mesonephros, and opisthenephros then finally forms a part of the adult form of that animal. Okay, like in the case of frogs, in an adult frog it will be called opisthenephros and not mesonephros. All right, the larval stage is called pronephros. So it develops caudal to pronephros, that means bottom structure, and it contains renal corpus cells with internal glomeruli. Okay, so now these mesonephros, if it has to develop further, like in humans, it becomes metanephros. This was actually a very tricky question. I would give this a smiley face. So tricky question. Because it's a very good chance that you get if you knew the development of kidney, there's a very good chance that you could get confused between mesonephros and opisthenephros. Okay, so but it is opisthenephros in adult frog, specifically mentioned in the question. Okay, and it's not mesonephros, so please remember that. This is very good question. I would suggest you note this down and remember this as a fact, because if they really want to up their game and they give you a question like this, you know it. All right. I don't know if they will, because this information is not present in NCRT. But yeah, if you want to understand the development of kidney, it's pronephros to mesonephros and then metanephros. But in the case of adult amphibians and fishes, it is called opisthenephros. Okay. Let's move. I guess we've answered the question. There's a very good chance you will get confused between B and D. But you say kidney of an adult frog. Okay, it's opisthenephros. Let's move on. Question number 9. Mucus helps frog in forming, and this appeared in 1993. A. Thick skin, B. Dry skin, C. Smooth skin, and D. Moist skin. So mucus helps frog in forming D. Moist skin. So the answer is D. Okay, so the frog skin is thin and richly supplied with blood. Okay, it is kept moist with mucus and water, and cutaneous respiration takes place through skin. All right, I think we discussed cutaneous respiration also before, and the skin of the frog, we've discussed that briefly. So just remember, the frog skin is very thin and richly supplied. It's vascularized, right? And so there's a rich supply of blood. So and then it is kept moist with mucus and water. All right, this was pretty direct. Let's move on then. Question number 10. Bullfrog of India is, this appeared in 1992, A. Rana tigrina, B. R. sylvatica, C. R. castibiana, and D. R. esculenta. So bullfrog of India is A. Rana tigrina. So the answer over here is A. Okay, Indian bullfrog is known as Rana tigrina. This is the scientific name that's given. I'm sure you've seen this in textbooks also. It's a scientific name given to the Indian bullfrog. Okay, again direct, learn this as a fact if they ever ask you this question. All right, let's move on then. Okay, question number 11. Addition of a trace of thyroxine or iodine in water containing tadpoles will, this appeared in 1990, A. keep them in larval stage, B. hasten their metamorphosis, C. slow down their metamorphosis, and D. kill the tadpoles. So tadpoles we know is the larval stage of the frog. They eventually then develop into adult form. Okay, so if, for example, if there's a trace of thyroxine or iodine in water, what will happen? It will hasten their metamorphosis. Okay, so thyroxine plays a very important role in causing the metamorphosis from the tadpole stage to the adult form. Answer is B. So thyroxine brings about metamorphosis in tadpoles, hence the addition of water will hasten the process. Also, iodine molecules are required for the production of thyroxine. Hence, metamorphosis will happen quickly. We remember we studied the thyroid gland in, I think, in endocrine system, where I explained how thyroxine is formed. So, iodine molecules are important in the formation of thyroxine. Similarly, in frogs also. So, just imagine if there was a thyroxine or even iodine present in water, it will quickly cause the metamorphosis of tadpoles into adult form, okay, into frogs. So again, a good question. Okay, you need to remember this, that thyroid glands in frogs play a very important role. So thyroxine hormone plays a very important role in frogs. Okay, remember this. So it's important. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video lecture, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video lecture, and I hope you've learned something new today. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to NEET Biology, and I am available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so you can follow me there for more updates, and I'll see you in the next video lecture. All right, so bye.